what is the most amazing part of being able to bring together mysticism in a 5D plane as well as that lovely functional adult is the opportunity to share how channeling guidance works with the energies. So while people who are still in the 4D plane, and so they have a way that they talk about all of these aspects with belief systems, the 5D plane is a little bit more practical, but since we're not in the empirical area, we're still woo. Well, that's why we're an in-between. That's an in-between, but it's not an in-between because we take the human experience very seriously. And so when I was looking to see with this new moon, what is it? It was yesterday. So all that cleared up. So our relationships, if we remember Terry Real, he speaks about how all trauma is relational and intimacy is at the core and how the partner does not fix you. So for the polysecure person, we actually have an ability to already have our safe haven secure base. And so we are always in relationships to share joy, not extract joy. And we have a recent Sadhguru quote on that. So when you are sharing joy, this is why we're always tangoing. And so with the energies today, we have a lovely thinking masculine energy. But not only, where's my feminine? She's not here right now. Not only, we also have the feminine thinking energy that is freeing up any type of 8 sword mentality due to, here's my feminine. So here's my feminine. Due to the adaptive child emotionally speaking, to be taken seriously, which is a person who does not recognize how to bring forth their human experience. Because instead of learning about their emotional body and disconnecting from the supernatural ideas of spiritual or spirituality, and therefore, you know, when the whole heartbreak happens, so what do teenagers do? Because I remember being a teenager. I remember they didn't do this. They didn't go to their inner world and learn how to just say, well, it happens. Not everybody has the ability to be enriched from who they are as they are. No, we got people who don't know. It's not about the money. It's about their own abundance. It's about their own door to what? Spirit? Yes, spirit. You know who spirit is? You're spirit. I'm spirit. We're all life. It's called the breath. You know what the breath does? The breath actually puts into practice your nervous system. So when you breathe in, you are activating your sympathetic. When you breathe out, you're activating your parasympathetic. Now, when emotions come up here, we have our left mode, chit chatter. The right is where all the emotional stuff is. It's also where you can sit in the unknown. And people, most of the time, they don't know how to sit in the unknown. And, you know, I heard this sentence from somebody who claimed they heard it from Tony Robbins. And I'm like, I heard it from Carl Rogers, who's a psychologist who made a change, a good, important change in psychology, by telling his colleagues that the patient knows more about themselves than we do. And we need to stop treating the patient, the people that you're helping, because therapists are supposed to help people. Not all of them are actually ideal. Some of them are adoptive children, and there are plenty of their own colleagues which have spoken of the therapists who manipulate, who want to maintain control. And in fact, when you look at codependent types, there's the ones who force to try to change you and they are superior to you, or the martyrs, or the ones who blame, self-blame, the caretakers. And in fact, there's an entire group of philosophy behind the, what's the one they call it? Anyways, I won't use the words, but you can always tell when a person's using a story because the adoptive children use stories to talk about themselves. They don't use their name. So they're superheroes, and then there are supervillains they're fighting, and there's somebody there's rescuing. So a person who's actually empowered in the Enlightenment Soul Age group, the ecstasy in your body that we will have heard Sadhguru talk about, the whole he can close his eyes. You know how that happens? It happens with integration of the brain. So human being 101, like pretty basic here. I didn't know any of somatics, any trauma-informed. Teenage, I knew what heartbreak was like anybody else. And it was like, oh, I have it. It's in my chest. Oh, look, nobody can break it. Oh, wait a minute. That's right. I even have, what are these called? Bones. So I'm being a little silly here and there because, when people talk about the door to romance, they always seem to get distracted. But when they talk about the door to love as well, as Sadhguru points out, relationships are about someone. Love is our nature. And as Stephen Porges has pointed out, he wanted to write a book about love with his wife. But the publishers didn't find his book appealing because, most people think that love needs to be excruciatingly painful. And yes, I'm exaggerating a little bit because when you find out that the optimal mental and emotional health of any person is seriously just being a person, but a actually vulnerable person, which means that that people who hurt people and yell at each other and are consistently doing a lot of things, which is superhero and supervillain and living movies, which you used to just think, it's just people. I don't know what's wrong. But then it's like, oh, wait, nothing's wrong. They're choosing not to harness that nervous system and get engaged in their ventral vagal because they see the movies showing them that drama is really, really the human way. And they don't understand that love is our nature. It is because our mammalian heritage. Thank you, Stephen Porges. So when you are in your ventral vagal state and when you are in an integrated brain, so you're using your left and right, thank you, Daniel Siegel, all hands on deck. Your default mode network is downregulated, and you are a conduit, and your ventral vagal is on, and guess which hormone is on? The oxytocin gene hormone, which is the love hormone. You don't even need to touch me. In fact, when you touch me, if I want you to touch me, that's where we have another group of hormones for that stuff. The love hormone, the oxytocin gene hormone, is on in my body. So you know what happens when you unconditionally love your own self with flaws and imperfections and your secure attachment with yourself. Again, imperfection here. It's love, Love. So when people actually don't know what love is, they will find consistent, contingent communication of a compassionate, loving anyone who's in 5D right now is here. So they know the joy of the gift of life in the absence of believing in anything or everything. Doesn't matter. I came with belief. I still have belief, but it's in physics and the stars. And I know that the sphere of the collective consciousness, which is infinite, is amazing. I get nudged too, but I don't have to call it something, even though I do like Akash. I like that word. That's in respect to those who still use other words in ways that are part of institutions, which I love as well. In fact, here's the part we love all. That's, again, polyamory for you. Everything, everyone. And some people say, oh, if you love all, you don't love anyone. And that's sad because they're really attached to the physical stuff. And some of these people, they actually do yoga. They do a lot of holistic stuff. They are always in the mouth of, I'm spiritual. Oh, I'm special. Oh, I'm this. And then you see them actually not treating every person like life. Apparently, they don't know that life means every human being, every animal, every, tree, everything. Oh, I forgot. Yes, they compare humans to parasites. Apparently, they don't know that evolution works in us. We evolved to have secondary consciousness. So, go figure. We were chosen as a species. We didn't do anything wrong by not knowing. The same way anybody who's an infant who has an attachment system didn't choose to have unresolved trauma, as well as those parents and the parents and the parents and the forefathers. And there is no devil necessary for the understanding of what transgenerational trauma is for anybody who actually does use the scientific methodology of people who are studying the optimal mental health, the optimal self. They're studying neuroscience. They're studying subject matters. It explains why people do what they do, all of it. And I know, because I've always been curious, why do you do what you do? And I've also been curious, why do I do what I do? And it's always been with wonder. In fact, I kind of knew evil wasn't there the first time I began reading about psychology. I was like, human suffering, human suffering, human suffering. Oh, wow, look at this. They were treated like a punching bag at home. I don't know about that one. Okay, wow. This is so sad. I don't think it's evil. I'm seeing people being tortured in their own homes. Let me think about that again. Oh, yes, we were one with animal. Our reptilian nervous system did serve us some. It seems pretty basic to me. So education, very important. Using it to empower people, also very important. How do we empower people? By getting them curious. Mindful relationships are about being curious. Anybody who is nasty doesn't know what love is because their nature is love, so they don't know themselves yet. We get to try and help people to learn about love. Zen masters, tune on in.